Thank you for the opportunity to appear before you today to discuss CEQ's efforts to modernize NEPA through proposed guidance on the consideration of greenhouse gas emissions and the effects of climate change in NEPA reviews. We at CEQ are proud of this guidance, and we welcome the opportunity to speak to you about it today. As you know and has been mentioned, NEPA calls on agencies to consider the potential environmental impacts of their actions when making decisions. To quote the statute, which really was before its time, the law was established to declare a national policy which will encourage productive and enjoyable harmony between man and his environment, to promote efforts which will prevent or eliminate damage to the environment and biosphere and stimulate the health and welfare of man, and to enrich the understanding of the ecological systems and natural resources important to the nation. In short, NEPA asks agencies and requires agencies to look before they leap. It allows agencies the flexibility to consider environmental impacts in a reasonable and measured manner. It allows them to focus on issues that are important, hear from all stakeholders, and exercise their professional judgment in projecting environmental impacts. CEQ's draft GHG guidance will add further predictability to the NEPA process by clarifying for agencies and project sponsors how to account for climate change as part of environmental reviews. It provides a reasoned and transparent approach that will enable them to make more informed decisions. This guidance reflects our latest effort to help agencies complete environmental reviews consistently, efficiently, and openly under the existing NEPA framework. We know that a changing climate is a reality, and carbon pollution is the biggest driver of climate change. We also know that federal actions can contribute to emissions, and that climate change affects agencies and their actions. And we know that consideration of climate change falls squarely within the scope of NEPA, and federal courts across multiple circuits have considered various approaches to this analysis. Where the courts differ, and what agencies have been wrestling with for years, however, is how climate change should be considered in NEPA reviews. Our guidance offers a consistent approach that increases certainty and preserves agency discretion. This makes it easier and faster for agencies to prepare reviews and will reduce the threat of litigation, which can be costly and cause further delay. I want to be clear about something, as I think it often gets lost when we talk about NEPA generally or specifically with relation to the greenhouse gas guidance. NEPA's requirements focus on the process by which agencies consider the impacts of their actions, not on the outcomes. It does not require agencies to make an environmentally preferred decision or to reject certain projects. The guidance is simply about transparency and informed decision making. I like to think of it like the calorie count on a box of cereal. Just like nothing prevents a consumer from selecting the most calorie-intensive alternative, nothing about our guidance requires an agency to select the least greenhouse gas-intensive alternative. The guidance does not regulate emissions, direct agencies to prohibit emissions-intensive projects, or mandate that agencies select the alternative with the least emissions. What the guidance does do is put an end to delays caused by hand-wringing over whether climate change should be addressed or how to address it. Our guidance provides a consistent framework for how agencies can consider climate impacts. Specifically in the guidance, we encourage agencies to focus their analysis on those actions involving large levels of emissions which are most likely to raise climate issues. We encourage agencies to use existing GHG estimation tools rather than attempting to build their own. We advise agencies to consider the potential effects of climate change, such as flooding or drought, early in the project planning process, and we emphasize that agencies should rely on existing assessments and reports on climate change rather than conducting their own research. As always under NEPA, agencies must focus their analysis on reasonably foreseeable direct, indirect, and cumulative impacts as a project. Limit their analysis on what is necessary given the scope of the project and avoid speculation. We remain confident that this guidance will bring greater clarity when, why, and how the NEPA process should apply to climate change issues. Mr. Chairman and Ranking Member Grijalva and members of the committee, I am proud of what CEQ has accomplished over the past 5 years to modernize and reinvigorate NEPA and the NEPA process. I appreciate the opportunity to present to you today, and I look forward to your questions. Thank you.